Can-Am is one of the most bonkers racing series to ever grace the face of the planet. Although it didn't last for that long, to start off with, it was one of the few racing series where manufacturers could literally do as they pleased with their cars, not having to worry about regulations pegging them back in any way. Although for the sake of safety, there had to be some asterisks brought in towards the end of the life of the series. But what I want to look at is the Shadow Mark I Mosport. Probably the craziest looking race car I've ever laid eyes upon. First of all, believe it or not, this car was fully legal. So this isn't going to be a video about how they found a loophole, exploited the rules, or ran something straight up illegal for performance purposes. This science experiment was a legitimate racing machine in 1970. The precursor to this specific model also looks like something out of Turbo Dismount, but you can see how this car evolved into the absolute mentalist that came a couple years after it was initially designed in 1968. The extremely low profile worked in tandem with the small wheels to give it the smallest frontal area possible. In fact, basically everything in the Shadow Mark I was built to reduce the height of the car, to the Chevrolet engine, to the clutchless gearbox, to the oil pan and collector. Quickly, I'm going to get into some of the unique features of this specific Shadow. First thing you may notice, yes, those are radiators housed in the spoiler, to cool down the absolutely enormous big block 7-litre V8 that produced 700 horsepower. And in a car that only weighed 815 kilos, it isn't a million miles away from a 1:1 horsepower to kg ratio, which in the year 1970 is something that I didn't even think was remotely possible, especially in sports cars. This car was actually a relative failure on the circuit, however. Despite how innovative it may seem, this was mainly because of the maybe predictable overheating issues that it faced. This was despite a theoretical top speed of 250 miles an hour. If any brave soul actually attempted that speed in this, Motorsport Hall of Fame immediately.